lag is basically what we mentioned in the preview of the video, is the angle between the left forearm and club shaft. So what has a tendency to happen is people are fixated too much about keeping this angle into impact and don't really focus too much on what the club face is doing and how that affects the overall impact position. So let's focus on a couple of things, right? So we've got something called a lever system, which is the angle between left forearm and club shaft, right? So if I was to maintain that lever system all the way down, so the angle between left forearm and club shaft, then what's going to happen is I'm not going to get the club head to the ground because my left arm is staying on the same angle. So how do we get the club down to the golf ball? So we need to add something called wrist set. Okay, so the set of wrists on the way back, and what the opposite to that is unhinging your wrist. So this left wrist unhinges. So if we restore all this lag into impacts, as we were talking about, I just want you to pay attention to what the club face does. So I come into impact, and what has a tendency to happen, the club stays too much off the ground. Okay, so how do I maintain that angle? After I add in a little bit of wrist hinge, and from there I maintain that angle. But a lot of golfers focus too much on the left arm. Let's focus on wrist angles. So doing it from down the line, a lot of golfers get to the top of the backswing, restore that angle, but what they do is they keep the arms in that position, so they drag the handle forward to maintain that lag. The club face hasn't released. From there, the club's off the ground, and what they do is to try and release the angles, they have to cast. So what I mean by casting is they lose the angle in their right wrist. The body doesn't rotate, so the body is not rotating because we're trying to maintain this angle all the way through, and from there we can't release it properly. So what you need to focus on, if I get to the top of the backswing, what you feel like we're keeping this angle, so we're getting our lead wrist more into a flex position, so more in a board position where the gloves points down to the ground, and our lead arm is supinating, so our left arm goes more towards the sky, moves away from the inside of our body, so our thumb goes from almost towards our left foot in towards the target line. We don't want to get into this position where we're storing that angle, and from there we can't reduce the dynamic loft. So we're getting into this position, gloves to the ground, but we're not focusing on this angle. This angle maintains its position if we get the lead wrist in a flexor board position. The left arm supinates, but what we have to do with our bodies, we have to rotate, so we're not dragging this angle. The body stops turning, because if I turn there and the club face is miles open, it was far away from you as possible. I mentioned it in the driver video where we get to the top of the backswing. So if we flex this lead wrist, then we're going to feel like the club head's moving away from us. That's going to maintain that angle into impact. Get to the top of the backswing, they kind of all do it the same, so they're trying to set the left wrist on the way back, getting the left arm in a good position. As they start down, they're trying to release that angles as early as possible, so they're not restoring that all the way in impact. The reason why they're releasing those angles as early as possible is because they're rotating the body, and if you're rotating the body, then that releases the angles as early as possible. So think about getting to a position where get to the top of the backswing, start down. So the first thing we do is we maintain that angle, release those angles as early as possible. So take your right hand off the club, drag the left arm. This is a drill I use to try and feel the sensation of what the right wrist needs to do and what the left wrist needs to do in order to keep that position. So get to the top of the backswing, come back into impact. Lead wrist should be pointing more towards the ground, which is getting it in a flex position. Left arm needs to supinate, meaning that the elbow, so the front of the elbow has to point towards the sky. That allows the club face to rotate closed. And so get to the top of the backswing, come down last parallel, put the right hand on the club, and notice there how my right wrist is bent back. That's kind of the position we should maintain in. Lead wrist, bowed, right wrist bent back, maintain that position, rotate the body, so we need to add rotation to maintain that angle between left forearm and club shaft. Come back down, maintain that angle, and then our lead arm supinates, so it's pointing towards the sky. So any thoughts in that video? Remember, if you're focusing on too much about lag, you're not going to release the club properly or consistently as you like. So if you keep that angle into impact, the wrists can't change angles unless you scoop or cast to try and obviously change the orientation of the club face. So get to the top of the backswing, maintain that angle, but you're releasing those angles as early as possible. You're not going to cast because you're rotating your body, and the right wrist needs to be bent back to maintain that position. So get to the top, left hand on club, right hand off club, get the glove more in flex position. From there you supinate the left arm, feel that left handed, come back into position again, bend the right wrist back. So from there, if the lead wrist is in a bowed position, then the right wrist is going to be in a flex, so that's going to be bent back in this position. On that position, maintain that angle, come through, hit golf ball, then you're going to be able to change the dynamic loft more into a de-lofted position, hands forward by changing wrist angles, and maintain that position and create more consistent strikes. So, any thoughts on that video, make sure you post your comments below, and if you like the video, make sure you give a thumbs up. And any other topics you want me to discuss regarding lag and how you can create more distance. Remember, distance is created by not releasing those angles early without rotating the body. I feel, in my opinion, distance is created if we release those angles early as we rotate. So we don't want to release them early and keep the body there. That's where the club is going to get too long too early. So think about, if we release them after we've turned the body, so we turn the body, we release those angles, that's going to get the hands ahead. So if we rotate the body, the hands are ahead. Impact, change wrist angles, that's going to get the shaft forward and reduce that dynamic loft and obviously lead arm supination. So.